Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great evening. So today, the Zen or the X1 Litepaper, the anticipated blockchain that is due to come out in 2024, has released its light paper. And I haven't had a chance to read it all yet, but most people who watch the channel know I am pro Zen. Zen is probably the only cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin MYK that I think really gets and fully understands cryptocurrency. I'm now starting to see some members of the Zen community embrace Bitcoin MYK, which I'm a little bit confused as to why there aren't as many people using Bitcoin MYK as Zen. I think Bitcoin MYK makes a lot more sense. It's a free blockchain, free transactions, etc. It's up over 1,000% the last 30 days, etc. But I think it's just a matter of not a lot of people are covering it. In this space, we have some really strange content influencers, as we'll talk a little bit about in this video when we're covering the post-SAC prices or post going below a SAC price, which I pretty much anticipated. But before we get there, let's look into what we do know about Zen so far. So we'll take a look at this together. So what we know so far is this is supposed to launch in 2024, perhaps early 2024. Now, my belief is that it would have been awesome. And I kind of know how the Zen community probably was thinking. They probably was thinking that post chain was going to perform so well, it was going to blow any attention off Zen. It was like going to be no reason to use Zen at all. And what we're seeing actually is the exact opposite of that. Whereas if the Zen blockchain was already ready and it was now going up against post chain, I think it would totally annihilate post chain, take the attention off post, put it on Zen, and I think that would be even better for Zen, right? I think Zen would it would be a good story going around how Zen not only as a block it launched a blockchain in a few months, but it totally blew a blockchain that took several years to launch out of water. That would have been a great story, but I know Jack Levin was probably thinking somewhere else. As I said before, I'm pretty much pro Zen because it has the same principles of Bitcoin MYK, but I don't really find Jack Levin any more genius than I find Richard Hart at this stage. I think that they make a lot of mistakes, but with Zen, at the very least, Zen knows the direction that's going on. Where I think Post is just kind of this blind community following Richard Hart, and it's proven to be catastrophic for them. Now, I think one of the biggest issues with the Zen blockchain, again, I haven't had time to cover the white paper yet and really analyze it, but I can tell from what I'm getting from the community and things are being said uh, that there's a great concern about how the distribution with the X1 native coin will work, right? Like if you hold Zen, will you automatically be privy to so many X1 coins, or will it be the what are they calling it? The Bitcoin ordinal token, I think the VAMP token, right? The VMPX token, right? Will that be the thing that allows you to get the X1 tokens, right? Or get some advantage or what have you. And, a lot of people didn't like the fact that, the attention was taken away from Zen coin and put on the VMPX coin. See, I think this is another mistake in the Zen community. I think this is kind of making a mistake like the Richard Hart ecosystem whereas Hex could have easily been the coin of the blockchain. Hex is kind of pushed to the side, and then you get the post coin and etc. Right? But those are just my thoughts, right? Obviously, I create a project because I feel I can do things better, right? I think the user interface is better, but so far we haven't been able to get the numbers like Zen or Hex, because we don't have the notoriety, the fame, etc., the influence, or wherever it comes from. We haven't got there yet. I think we will get there, but we haven't got there yet. But anyway, those are what we're looking at with the X1, like paper in the project itself. Um, Now, I think this blockchain is going to come out the gate performing way better than the post community, right? I'm willing to bet that's going to happen. No doubt in my mind that, guys, sometimes simplicity is actually better, right? And the post chain was very complex, complicated with all these free airdrops that really don't mean anything, because if we look at the volume of these projects, number one, there aren't any communities really coming to post chain, which I suspected from the jump, and the volume is ridiculously low. So it just seems to be a wasted effort, energy, money to create that, really, to be quite frank with you all. But some would disagree, and you're fine to do that, right? But anyway, Zen looking good, giving it a thumbs up so far. Despite its negatives, its positives still balance it out. And I'm a supporter. I'll continue to be a supporter until I see something just outright ridiculous. But so far, so good, right? We'll go with that. Let's talk about now post being below the sacrifice uh, uh, levels, and let's go into some of the reasons I think that occurs and why these communities find themselves in these situations. All right, let me pull up the chalkboard here. And let me say this, I don't really look at my content as negative against post-chain or anything like that. That's really not our direction. Another thing I don't like when, because I'm seeing a lot of post videos that are starting to talk more negative about posts, right? Um, and that's fine. But the thing is that the problem I'm having is that I'm more in the camp of criticism, yes, but can you create any solutions, right? It's very easy to destroy, but can you build, right? Can you build something? That is where true usefulness comes in. And so, although I might give my criticism about posts, I try to offer a solution, right? And I find that some people who report against the post hex community, not only don't they do that, and it's just kind of, just negative information just constantly out there, right? And there's no learning examples there. It's no, so to speak. It's more of like I told you, so I got you moment. And I'm not interested in that. I think that's a waste of time and energy. In fact, that's why the video is entitled "Why Richard Hart Isn't to Blame for," I believe, the situation with Post going below the sac price. I don't think he's to blame at all. So if Richard Hart isn't to blame, and I don't want to give the responsibility to him at all in this, uh, who do I think to blame? Obviously, it would be you guys out there. And so I'm going to look into some of the reasons I think not only you guys are to blame, but the reason that Post is in the situation that it's in, right? And at the end of this, if you stick through the end of the video, hopefully provide some solutions, some better solutions to, or at least a solution to the problem, right? So to your particular problem. So the first thing is quick return at lunch, right? Now, what this signals to me is that it's not so much that people believe so much in the post system and the Richard Hart system, but what they were hoping was this big breakout at lunch. To be frank, some were just hoping Richard Hart would use some of those billions to pump up the price, and they can quickly get a 10x or something and get out. That's what they thought. So that doesn't happen. That doesn't occur. Richard Hart is smarter than they are, And a lot of them are probably going to end up dumping and losing money on this thing before it does go off. Now he's gotten rid of the undesirables he didn't want in the ecosystem to begin with. He's gotten rid of the deplorables, right? And right, he doesn't have to worry about them anymore. They're all the only people who've lost. But these people are subsequently bringing the price of posts down, right, below the sacrifice. Now, some are just got a lot of post bonuses and they were profitable, true. But best believe there are a lot of people who thought they can make some quick money on this thing, and a lot of them are dumping, right? Now, the second reason, the gambling mentality, right? This is very similar to the first point, but it's a little bit different because the gambling mentality, it doesn't just mean that the people are just trying to get in and make a quick money. It is that because they don't, the mentality is more of a shell game gambling fiasco. They don't even know how to look at the market in a sense where they can come to logical conclusions on how to navigate the post ecosystem. In other words, they don't know any of the fundamentals of the project, right? It's just that, oh, their friend told them they should get in this, they should get in that. And let me take a chance here. Let me gamble on this. Now, the reason that's bad because you shouldn't be putting your money in anything that you don't understand, right? Take the time to learn what you're investing in, right? Don't be lazy. That's just part of how things work. You got to do the research, right? Life is hard this way. You can't just, you're busy at work, you're busy with life, you're busy at school. You have to go into this the same way you go into any type of secondary education, right? When you're doing other things, right? When you come in from work and you go back to college or whatever you do. Same thing here, right? Same thing here. Because if you don't do that, that money that you've put in, it might be as costly as the time it would have taken to, right? So you have to look at it in through all those ways. The third point, no investment education. Now, this isn't everybody's fault. This isn't necessarily a person's fault who comes into cryptocurrency. This is their first investment. They don't know anything about investing. They've never held stocks, bonds, real estate, etc. And so crypto, they get into that, maybe a little bit easier access. They get into cryptocurrency, and then they start to make a lot of mistakes because they simply don't have the education. Point three relates to point two, right? You got to have the investment education not to be a gambler. You got to have some handle on what you're doing. If you do not, right, you're going to contribute to the post price being below the sack rate, right, as it is. And then you're going to be quite disappointed you weren't able to take advantage of it, right? Now, the fourth point is just what I call anti-crypto principles and idea. And this is kind of similar to the quick return at the lunch, right? And these are people who just aren't cryptocurrency people at all. These are just people who, whether you have cryptocurrency or not, um, it wouldn't matter to them, right? It doesn't matter if it's a get rich quick scheme, an infomercial. For those of y'all don't know what I mean by infomercial, a lot of people don't watch television anymore because they're on the internet all the time, etc. But I can tell I'm getting older because I remember going to bed and they had all these infomercials on television, right? A lot of them get rich quick schemes, right? um, and so anti-crypto people are kind of in a similar light in the sense that they don't really believe in the principles of cryptocurrency. They don't care about being free. They have the mentality of a rich slave. They just however the money's made, and this is the problem in the Richard Hart ecosystem. There are a lot of people in the Richard Hart ecosystem that they don't really believe in cryptocurrency. They don't really believe in Richard Hart or care about what he's built. The only thing they care about is there's a possibility somehow that Richard Hart is connected to uh, money and prices going up from what happened with Hex. And so they're hoping that that is their principal guide, right? It has nothing to do with trustless yield. It has nothing to do with principles of no middleman, nothing to do with decentralization. And these people know that to be true. And so they're greatly disappointed when things don't go their way. Not understanding that if you have a pro crypto philosophy, that you're going to be able to ride the waves of many of these markets. You're not going to make silly mistakes. You're not going to be desperate, etc., and off balance with how to deal in these spaces. A lot of things are going to come together for you because you are a cryptocurrency person, right? You're part of the community. And my belief is you should only be in cryptocurrency if you believe in the principles. Never invest in things you don't use and don't believe in. My thoughts. Those are my thoughts and ideas, right? The next point is scam exploitation, right? What do I mean by that? Let me give the example of BitConnect. There were people, and I'm not calling Post Chain a scam. I don't, or Hex or anything like that a scam. I don't make unsubstantiated claims, right? I think that's stupid. What I do is I make claims based on the data in front of me, right? And if people want to be oblivious to that and ignore that and think it doesn't affect them, or listen to this video and don't take action, don't take into account what we're saying here and it's found to be true or credible, etc., then hey, that's on you. But I'm not going to say anything is a scam unless it's just clearly a scam. But there are clearly bad ideas and projects, bad decisions made, bad directions, right? And I think Pulse is one of them. But what I mean by scam exploitation is like what you get in Bitcoin is, or BitConnect rather, I'm sorry, you had this mentality where people would know it was a scam, right? And they would still get in. They don't care that it's a scam. They just hope that they can exploit other people in these projects, right? And so what they do is they try not to get burnt by it themselves, but they're willing to take the risk. Now, if they can get an opportunity out of it, now they knew it was a scam, they willingly participated in a scam. But now, if let's say BitConnect is, was taken to court, as I believe it was, I didn't really follow it deeply, but if it was, or somebody was taken to court, somebody was prosecuted, there was some type of civil lawsuit, etc., then they would want to still be involved in that and recover from that, even though they themselves are helping to facilitate the scam, and they are exploiting the people in the scam, right? They're almost similar to the founders of the scam, right? They're willing participants, and that happens a lot. And again, not saying Post is a scam, but the mentality of the people in this project kind of can work like that. Especially what they tell people, the information they share with people, how they get people involved, etc. And the last point is the influencer mind control. This is the people in these type of ecosystems being the victim of, where the influencer themselves are basically telling people things they know not to be true. I ask a lot of people in these communities, especially like the post-Hex community. There are people who, a lot of big influencers you guys follow, who say they were involved from the very beginning, right? If they were involved from the very beginning with Hex and Post, etc., and all that stuff, why aren't they wealthy from these projects? They know all these things, right? Why are they still doing YouTube videos every day, struggling for 2,000 or 3,000 views a day in these communities? That doesn't seem like the actions of multi-millionaire, billionaire people, right? And so a lot of the community is listening to these people and they're telling them the wrong stuff, etc. And so they're under the mind control of people who haven't experienced or haven't used the knowledge and are anticipating on things and predicting things. They have uh, uh, um, no experience uh, in many respects. And that's a problem because that can lead people down the wrong direction. But all that compiles into creating a post sacrifice rate below the sack price because the things they're saying not only aren't they true, but the people are finding out they aren't true, and so they're selling, right? Because hasn't come to fruition, and it may never will, right? Hasn't seen the promising prices that were promised in years, right? And so, I mean, people just aren't buying it anymore, right? They aren't buying it anymore. I think members of the Zen community we're starting to get through to, right? We talked about not just criticizing projects, but having a solution for them, right? Because that's not really going to help criticizing people on posts. I'm watching the I Gotcha Moment videos. No, it doesn't do anything. Those people, economic energy is now tied up into the post ecosystem, Hex or whatever, and they can't really get it out like they want. That's done with. Right now, they got to just stay the course and hope for the best, or what have you. Or they can create new economic energy, new value. That's the great thing about capitalism. We can create more pizza pies. We can create more raw values somewhere else. And with you all, you could do it on network effect. That means this time you could do it leaving your pocketbook at home. We've proven Metcalfe's law. We've done this before. So you could just bring yourself and contribute to this, which is a good thing, which is something you're not going to get from most projects. I think the Zen community halfway gets it. I think they're starting to come around. The projects are very similar. I think this is better. That's my opinion, and I'm willing to back that up. But, they're starting to come around. Great. Better late than never. But I think it's getting at the too late point for the Post and Hex community. I really do, because the brainwashing is strong in that community. It's very cult like. And I think with a lot of them, it is beginning to be hang on to the very end, which is something we don't preach around the education entertainment television show, right? We don't preach cult like behavior. We think it's not healthy. But if you're part of the Zen community, and if it's not too late for you post and hexicans, uh, you probably do as a solution, as not just hearing these I told you so, but a solution that can maybe help you in some way. You really might want to take a look at Bitcoin MYK. Not telling you to put a dime in it. Just try it, use it absolutely free, see if you like it, see if it's a solution for you, right? And if you don't want to try that, if you're one of those people that create that list, or you are on that list I did, and you know that to be true, and that's your bed and that's what you want to lay in, that's fine too. You know, as you can see, Bitcoin MYK is going to grow either way, right? It's going to always be people, or let me put it this way, it's going to always be that people are going to choose better projects. It would be no different than if we produce a vehicle that that could get, and we got electric cars now, so this is not the best example, or we can use electric cars. You got an electric car can do 300-mile range a day. If we can give you a car that does 600-mile range a day for the exact same price, are you going to stick to the 300-mile range car? No. So that's the same thing with Bitcoin and YK. There's a reason people are joining our project. It's a reason it's floating under the radar. And when people look back, it's going to be up there. And they're going to be like, oh, how'd that get up there? Well, it's not rocket science, right? It's just better products do better because they listen to the community and they solve a problem in the community, right? We use the proof participation algorithm that fairly distributes value to people, right? And it does it in a way that isn't is very difficult to exploit. And when you're dealing with decentralization, distribution, etc., it's going to be hard to deny those things, right? People are always going to flock to that other than elitist situations, other than expensive blockchains, other than wealthy elite positions, other than whale positions, because most people aren't going to be whales, because communities aren't most of the communities is composed of average people. And when you have blockchains, even like Bitcoin, where 87% of the network is owned by only 1%, then that's not the best optimal way for a cryptocurrency to function. And if Bitcoin MYK is, which I'm 100% sure it is, then it's going to end up being a better product. But that's all I want to say in this video. Interested in hearing you guys' comments and thoughts. Do you agree with some of my points? Do you think they're made up? Do you think hoping that a project does better without the fundamentals will be enough? I guess we'll see. But that's all I want to say in this video, guys. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.